vertical, that's too low. Soften the knee forward. This is the technique. I feel your weight going that way. Always, it needs to come forward and then away. Even when you take a back step, everything goes forward then away. Here, I'm going to use my head weight. This is a body action. I don't need to try and do a bunch of stuff. I'm just taking it from, now I take my body and I turn it. Now I let that, remember when you land, you're going to let your body buffer. Let's go this way, just to make it easier. And then let the energy be in your body and let the turn complete itself. And everything I'm doing, I'm just letting this goes up and over. And see how you're pressing down on me? It's one of the worst things you can do to a woman when she's turning is press down. So you need to stretch your sides more as a man. Is that the right foot? Correct foot? Yeah. So here, stretch this side up for me. Good. See, now everything's light. And here, let that hand give. It's not giving, it's pulling. I need it to back up so I can back into it. Even if you feel, I'm not worried about you breaking your frame, Steve. So even if you feel you're moving your elbow, don't worry about it because you're not going to break your frame. Which foot are we doing? And so let that hand back up so she makes you and let it back up. I don't know what happens here. Twinkle. Okay? Go ahead. Okay.
And that's where you said draw the foot through there.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we understand.
Two things that happen. Steve, you are going to be scrutinized deeply here. When you let her out of this, you better perform like this. Because if you so much as even drop those arms slightly, they're going to scrutinize you for it. So now you got to do it coming out of this because you start great, but that's not what you do when you dance from the. So dance from this last one. We're going to let me out. Now, how you dance right here determines how well that goes. Beautiful. Staying close. Good. Good. I wanted to go up and over. I don't know why. Now, move your left side and your head weight. I'm like, do you feel how I need you to, yeah. You can't wrap yourself around your partner. You can turn your, do you see what? Yeah. You need to practice a lot of these moves by yourself. You're completely dependent on Jane's body to make the move happen. So make sure that when you're here, okay, now just move your body and give me a chance to follow. Beautiful. Same thing here. Wonderful. Oh yeah.
And then
and here. That's
hair
what
pins.
you did. Put up your frame. I'm not your frame. Good. See, you've got to do these movements on your own and not look at it as if you get to Jane, everything's good. So that's your body. Now, don't swing that arm forward. It doesn't come forward. It goes into closed. Good. Because your feet are going short because you want to reach with your arm. So running step forward. Basic movement. Stretch, stretch. Yes. It's about coming and getting your body next to hers, not going in on her back. And get your body next to mine. Good. Sway and head for Jane. And head. Good.
This one.
Sorry, that's the runaround.
That's the runaround.
Okay, and that's just going to continue with the sway. And I don't know if you do closed or open, but I would do open because of how much she's swaying.
Pull across and X line.
And just hold.
And then X
See,
line.
even if it's a fingertip, it's fine. Okay, that's really good because that's all about you.
Now, Kim, you said something about his hip earlier. I'm just trying to remember these little techniques.
Okay, a couple of different technical things.
Yes.
Is on a twinkle, heel toe, I'm rolling through. The knees have to stay soft, especially in waltz, because body rise occurs. And that's what allows that to happen. And there's always a brushing to or towards on a twinkle. This is brushing to go out. If you brush to and not, if you brush towards, this is brushing towards and going out. If you brush towards, you're gonna get a smaller step out. Because you're only here, you can't go clear out here. If you brush to, you get this projection. It gives you about that much more room because you're better balanced. When you're here, this is hard to balance. So a brushing toward would be something that I really purposely not taking a big step. You know those like weave, like a weave?
Mm-hmm.
That's when I would do a brush toward, is when I was gonna do a weave and have to bring the woman around.
Okay.
Brushing to would be something I wanna do in order to make progress. I'm gonna turn the hips, turns the frame. Yeah?
Okay.
Okay?
Now you told me to dance through my body more.
Yeah, and everything
And it
has
needs
to have rise and
flow
fall.
and rise and fall.
And 1, 2, 3, and. So I'm not gonna lower until an and. I don't lower on one. So if I'm doing something where I'm gonna do an explosion, or any of this, all of your rhythmicals should be and, should be a softening of the knee. 1 should be wherever it is that I wanna go. 2 should be me taking my body over it with a slight amount of body starting to rise. I don't always have to have foot rise. 3 is the biggest rise in the whole thing. Now, rise can be just with the body. See how my knee's soft? So don't mistake some of these moves. Don't try and get up here all the time. So if I'm doing an explosion, I have and, 1. I take my body and it starts to rise, or my arm for 2. And it's at its maximum stretch for 3. My legs aren't. Now, the turn, where you turn in, where you're here, here, I'm going to commence to rise. My legs start moving into a rise. I stretch my body and I go up on my toe so I can get around. See how the foot rise was different there?
Right.
So I can have foot rise and body rise, or I can just have body rise
Okay.
in open.
One other thing, and you might have already said this, that would help me and Steve both. You said something about our hip, or his hip, or something about when he came around. You said moving.
Yeah, that in order, so I'm gonna set my frame, and in order, just like with all smooth dances, they come from the hip base. The frame is left side up and forward, and I understand it's misleading because that frame moves around. But the frame is never to move independently of the hip base for any reason. Even that old saying that, oh, I'm gonna move this for promenade. If you watch the good guys do it, you're always gonna see them close their hips. Then I can move it, but I never make a movement with my frame without the hip base going first.
Okay.
That's one reason why the frame is supposed to stay intact and not move this way.
Okay.
Okay? Now, I can move it a little. It's kind of like the banking that I said about your turn, but I would never move it without the hips having done something first. Now I can let it continue, but it's gonna have to stop if I'm not gonna do any more hips.
Okay.
Okay?